Alzheimer's disease is an autosomal dominant trait that gets passed down through one infected parent. This disease rapidly deteriorates your brain cells as well as your brain connections, which causes these cells to die. This leads to memory loss and the loss of many motor functions. It is our goal to test for certain genes in patients over 60 in order to see if Alzheimer's is part of your future. Our competitors, such as 23andMe, test for only one variant of the gene that predicts late onset Alzheimer's disease. This variation is the APOE E4 variant. Researchers have found several genes that increase the risk of Alzheimer's. APOE E4 is the first risk gene identified and remains the gene with the strongest impact on risk. Researchers estimate that between 40 and 65% of people diagnosed with Alzheimer's have the APOE E4 gene. The protein that is altered in people with the APOE E4 gene is the apolipoprotein E. This protein combines with lipids in the body, which are responsible for packaging cholesterol and other proteins and carrying it through the bloodstream. These proteins are not directly used in brain cells, but rather in blood cells. Because it is not certain as to why the gene is connected to Alzheimer's, recent studies suggest that the problem with brain cells' ability to process fats or lipids may play a key role in Alzheimer's and related diseases. This test used by 23andMe is limited by the fact that it only tests for single variation on one singular gene. Our SNP-chip test strives to test for 3 different variations of the APOE gene in order to give more clarity and information about your chances of developing Alzheimer's. We are testing for 3 genetic variations of APOE. This is very important because the more you know about your risk, the easier it is to make decisions. The specific genetic variation we focus on is the APOE2. This is a gene that lets you know if you have a low risk of developing Alzheimer's. The SNPs that are linked to the disease do not occur in the genes that are expressed in the brain, so the variations in the gene and the protein itself does not affect your brain function. These proteins may have correlation to Alzheimer's, but are most likely viewed as indicators of the potential of having the disease rather than something that causes it. Our test will be better because we will only test for this gene after 60 years old, and we will test for the most 3 common variants of the APOE gene, E2, E3, E4. Evidence towards the risk decrease in the APOE E2 variant is numerous but still relative due to outside factors such as diet, mental strain, and other medical conditions such as stroke and heart disease. The E2 variant decreases risk compared to the E4 gene 100-fold, according to SNPedia. Another limitation comes from being heterozygous or homozygous for different variations. If you were to have one allele of the E2 variation and one allele of the E4 variation, there is little information to determine your risk factor. Your risk is only shown in the homozygous alleles where you have both E2 alleles or both E4 alleles. Additionally, testing for the homozygous E2 alleles is just a risk indicator and is not directly related to causing or preventing Alzheimer's. Testing for any form of disease can allow you to be denied health insurance. By recognizing genetically that you may have a risk for developing Alzheimer's, health insurance may no longer support you. Additionally, you have to live in fear of knowing you are at risk of having Alzheimer's. A study found in the Journal of Clinical Nursing shows that the general trait anxiety score before receiving test results was 47.38, and following test results, the state of anxiety score was 50.65. Test results can also cause paranoia if you start feeling the effects of Alzheimer's, even though you may not even have it. The worst part about these tests is that many people with APOE E4 never get the disease. This means you could lose your health insurance and live in fear, but you may not ever get Alzheimer's. This kind of anxiety is extremely real and part of the reason we are testing for variations that have good outcomes and show you that you are at lower risk for developing the disease. By providing patients with this good news, it can ease anxiety and provide peace of mind to many people.